Hello everyone and welcome to my first Magic the Gathering video. Today we're doing a deck tap. It's about Wort the Raidmother. It's a 3/3 legendary creature Goblin Shaman. By the way, it's an EDH deck. It costs 4, a green or a red, and a green or a red. And when Wort the Raidmother enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red and green Goblin Warrior creature tokens. But that's not all. Each red and green or red instant or sorcery spell you cast has Conspire. Which Conspire means if you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share a color with it. So let's say you cast a green-red instant or sorcery spell, you can tap a green or a red creature, like 2, and then it will copy. So that's really powerful. So let's begin with the instants. Okay, so first off we play Early Harvest. Target player untaps all basic lands he or she controls. It's just really powerful because, well, we are on a budget, so we nearly only play basics. Then we have Reverberate. So that's a really powerful spell because if you don't have your commander, but you have a really big, let's say, fireball spell, that just deals half the damage you need to kill an opponent, you can just play this and it will deal all the damage you need. Okay, so then we have Harrow. Just sacrifice a land, search a library for 2 basic lands and put them into play untapped. Which is really powerful if you conspire it, because you get 1 free mana in that turn. Beast Within, because Beast Within. It's just a really powerful spell to just deal with troublesome planeswalkers or lands. Fall of the Titans is one of our win cons. X and a red. Fall of the Titan deals X damage to each of 2 target creatures and or players, but it also has search for X and a red, so it can become quite cheap. And you can, in a best case scenario, you can take multiple players out at once. Second Harvest, because we play quite a lot of tokens, and it will just make sure we get even more tokens and keep our Conspire engine going. Battle Hymn to add about 40 mana or something when you have your token engine going. It just adds a red for each creature you control, and if you Conspire it, you get an insane amount of mana. Just Wild Ricochet to just keep your opponent's troublesome spells that target you or your creatures or target you don't like in check. Just and if it does target someone you like, something you like, you can always copy it and target another thing you would like gone or bigger or something. Comet Storm is just a really powerful card because in this deck it will mostly just be a one-sided board wipe with a couple of damage for your opponents, so yeah. Volcanic Offering will often make people very salty. I once played it and someone said I couldn't have any pizza anymore because it was so salty. Well, especially if you conspired it and the whole table targets him, but... And last but not least, Artifact Mutation. Destroy target artifact, it can't be regenerated. Create X 1/1 green sapling creature tokens where X is that artifact's converted mana cost. This is just insanely powerful because often in your commander play group there ought to be some big mana artifacts, just some troublesome stuff you really need gone. So this is very good. Okay, so moving on to sorceries. We have Hordling Outburst. Just 1 a red and a red to create 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Just very powerful. Then we have Empty the Warrens. Often you just like to draw your whole library with some cards and just storm off through the Battle Hymn and other stuff, so you can win on this card alone. Volcanic Vision, just a board wipe for when your opponent start to get a little creepy. Just get those little peeps out of there. Cultivate, because It's a 2-for-1. It's just insanely good, especially in 2-color decks that can also conspire it, so it's mostly a 4-for-1. Azuri's Predation is also a one-sided board wipe, or a 3-sided board wipe, depending on how many players you have in your commander game. But often it's just insanely powerful. It will just, especially if conspired, you will get 36 tokens or something, and it's just too good, actually. Yeah. Nissa's Renewal to get some ramp and some life, just stay in the game a little longer, get your mana up till you, you go off. Farseek, just a classic ramp spell, just very good in most multicolored decks. Rampant Growth is also an auto-include. Just don't need to tell you why. Revel of the Fallen God creates 4 2/2 red and green Satyr creature tokens with haste for 7 mana, but if you conspire it, you get 16 power with haste for 7 mana, and it's just insanely good. Sky Shroud Claim, which will often just be for free if you conspire it. Just get 4 mana for 4 mana, and next turn you get 8 mana for 4 mana. Sylvan Offering. This card will often just win you the game if you have impact summers down. You just make a whole lot of mana and conspire it, and you get 45 elves and a 45 tree folk, and they just all die. It's just very good. Harmonize for some card draw. Howl of the Horde, which is just insane value for just 3 mana. It's a sorcery that says when you cast your next instant sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell, you may choose new targets for the copy. But if raid is triggered, which means you have attacked with a creature this turn, you will copy it an additional time, so just very good. Fireball is just, yes, it's a very good card in this deck. It doesn't need a lot of explaining. Gelatinous Genesis, it's just very strong because if you play it a bit right, you can often end up with 85 of those tokens, and they're all 85, and just very powerful in this deck. Hurricane will often help you with troublesome flyers, or if your opponents have more or less life than you have, and you want to get end the game quick. Primal Growth, just sacrifice a goblin you have or something, and it will give you quite a lot of mana. And if you conspire it, you don't have to pay the kicker cost an additional time. It's already paid in the original spell. So if you kick it and then you conspire, you will get 4 lands for 3 mana and a goblin. Magmatic Insight, just a little more card draw. Get those lands out of your hand where you don't need them anymore. Shamanic Revelation, just draw a card for each creature you control. And Ferocious, you gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater, just great with Azuri's Predation. Devil's Play is just Fireball with Flashback, so that can be very powerful. Dragon Fodder is just a couple more tokens. Collective Unconscious is just the same as Shamanic Revelation, it just costs 1 mana more and doesn't get you life. Decimate is just an auto-include in this deck because it will be so powerful once there's some stuff down. Wild Guess is just a little more card draw. Just like Tormenting Voice, which is almost identical to Wild Guess. But it costs 1 in the red instead of red. Banefire is insanely powerful against the blue deck. It's just too good to be true. Harvest Season is very good. Just often it will get you 10 lands or something just down, and next turn you can Bane Fire all your opponents. It's very good. Brass's Bounty. For each land you control, create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap, sacrifice the artifact, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. If you conspire this, you just double up your mana, triple up your mana for next turns, and it's often just game winning. Sudden Demise is just a board wipe for 1 color. It's just not much to there. Untamed Wilds. It's like Farseek, but it can also fetch you a forest. So that's really powerful. And Toil to Renown. It's often just gonna get you a ton of life and just be so good that, yeah, this will keep you in the game quite a lot. Okay, now we're moving on to artifacts. So of course we have Ashnod's Altar. Sacrifice a creature at colorless to your mana pool. That's just insanely powerful, especially in a token-based deck. You can just blow up everything by a fireball or something. Howling Mine, just a little group hug to get people to like you. Maybe get a little politics on later in the game. And otherwise you can always destroy it and get a couple of Saplings or trigger your Decimate so you can cast it. Soul Ring, because Soul Ring. Seal of the Guild Pact. This will often make your ramp spells cost even less. Make your burn spells cost even less. Make your Lever of the Fallen God cost even less. It's just really good, this deck. Throne of the God Pharaoh. Just ping your opponents to death. Pyromancer's Goggles, because it's just very powerful in the deck. If you cast a fireball for Axis 22 and you have just put 1 red mana, you get Axis 44. Primal Amulet, it's a new card from Ixalan. It says 4 instant artifact. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery, put a charge counter on Primal Amulet. Then if there are 4 or more charge counters on it, you may remove these counters and transform it. And when Primal Amulet is transformed, it's Primal Wellspring. It's a land that transforms from Primal Amulet. It says tap at 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. When that mana is spent to cast an instant sorcery spell, copy that spell and you may choose new targets for the copy. So that's just really good. Then last but certainly not least, we have Paradox Engine. Just untap all your creatures, or if you have Cryptolyph Write Down, it's just tap all your creatures for mana, cast a spell, untap them, tap them all again, cast a spell, untap them. It's just insane value, insanely powerful. It's just an auto include in this deck. Okay, so now we move on to Cryptolyph Write. First we have the aforementioned Cryptolyph Write. So that's just, it combos real good with the Paradox Engine. Just tap, untap, I explained it already. And we have Impact Tremors, just make a lot of tokens, pin your opponents to death. Holistic Wisdom, in case you just have to use a card again. It's just very good. Goblin Bombardment, so that when a player board wipes, you can always just ping them for each creature you have. Rites of Flourishing, also a bit of group hug to get people to like you, same thing. And then last we have Burgeoning. It says whenever an opponent plays a land, you may choose a land card from your hand and put it into play. Just turn 1, this is insane value, but late game it's also very good. Because well, the goal of the deck is ultimately to play quite a lot of lands and just win the game through burn spells and big creature numbers. Okay, then we move to creatures. We have Young Pyromancer to create tokens to conspire. We have Keeper of Progenitus. It says whenever a player taps a mountain, forest or plains for mana, the player adds 1 mana of any mana that land controlled to his or her mana pool. So we don't play white, but often we will just have the best value of anyone at the table from this. Then we play Lenore Elves because it's just a 1 mana elf that taps for green. It's a 1/1 classic. Gutter Snipe to just get your opponent down low so you can kill him early in the game with burn spells. Dragon Lair Spider so people get punished for playing spells. Charmbreaker Devil, so at the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Charmbreaker Devils get +4/+0 until end of turn. Just insane value. If you get a ramp spell for draw spell, just, yeah, very good. Spore Mount says, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 green sapling creature token onto the battlefield. Just very good because when you crack your Evolving Wilds, I think it's in the deck or something, you could just get multiple saplings in a turn. Or play Solemn Simulacrum, for example. It's a 4 mana artifact creature, Golem. It's a 2/2 that says when it enters the battlefield, you may put a land card from your library into play tapped. And when it dies, you draw a card. So that's just insane value for one creature. And then we play Arbor Elf. It just says tap, untap target forest, 1 mana. Just very good because with some duels we play, you can also tap it for a red. Okay, then we move on to Planeswalkers. We play one Planeswalker. It's Domri Raid. It's a 1 red and a green for Planeswalker with 3 loyalty. It says +1, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. -2 is target creature you control fights another target creature. And -7 is you get an emblem with creatures you control have double strike, trample, hexproof, and haste. Well, we're not gonna fight often because we don't have that many big creatures in our deck. But the top card of our library is very useful information. We don't play that many creatures, but it's always just information. But the ultimate's just your opponents can't take you on except for board wipes. And it's just so good, you almost win the game immediately. Okay, then we move on to non-basic lands. We play Reliquary Tower, it says you have no maximum hand size, tap, add a colorless, just very basic. Most commander decks want to play this. We play Cinderglade. It's a mountain forest that enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands, so most of the time it will just come into play untapped. We play Terrain Generator. Tap, add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, or you can play 2 and tap it, put a basic land from your hand to play tapped, so that's just really good. Rugged Highlands is, it enters the battlefield tapped, and when it enters the battlefield you gain 1 life, and it's just tap, add a green or a red. And we play Temple of the False God. It says tap, add 2 to your mana pool, activate this ability only if you control 5 or more lands. Then we move on to basic lands. We play 14 forests and 14 mountains. Well, that was the deck tech. That's were all the 99 cards. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, and leave a comment if you see any room for me to get better, which there should be because this is my first video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully till next video.